Good evening. Welcome to iCare Academy. My name is Arun, and I will be handling your Deloitte classes, in which we'll be discussing frequently asked questions and important questions regarding to exam, which will help you crack it easily. So let's begin with the first question of the day. Let me share my screen. Beginning with the first question, we have we have a given table in which states that we have a word and the length. This is for testing. This has 4 letters. Length of it is 4 and E is 2 letters. Length 2, 4, 3. And testing has 7 letters. Length of it is 7. So what is he asking us to do is that he'll be giving us a sentence collection of words. We need to extract each and every word's length and then print it in the string format. So what is he asking? Let's look at the output format. The output is a number formed after concatenation of length of words present in the string S. So the final result will be 4, 2, 3, 7. So he'll be giving us this is for testing. I'll show you. So the given string is this is for testing. So if you observe how many letters do we have in the first word? 4, 2, followed by 3. Again we have 7 letters. So we need to print the output to be 4, 2, 3, 7. So he is asking us to concatenate these numericals of length of each word, concatenation of length of each word and print it. So how are we going to do it? So first we need to collect, let us observe the input format and the output format, what is he asking for. So if you observe, given he'll be taking an input format, he'll be passing a string, we'll be taking a string as an input. Once you collect the input, using loops and extraction, you need to find each and every word's length, do concatenation and print. So before we begin, let us know what all we need to know in order to solve this question. So in order to solve this question, you need to have knowledge over strings, then loops concept. For now, I'll be using for each loop. Okay. And few of the string functions like len in order to calculate the length. And a few other things like conversion of data type, typecasting. So what are we going to do? In the first, we'll be taking input from the user without any arbitrary strings. Let's say yes is the given string input, collecting input from the user. Once you collect the input from the user, imagine we'll copy the same example for better clarity. So this will be the string he'll be passing as this is the string. So once this is the sample string we have taken, we need to extract each and every word. How do we do that? Any ideas? Using select function, we can do that thing. So either you can say s equals to s dot split. How does split work? Defaultly, if you do not pass any arguments into the split function, it assumes to be space. You will be having space over here. So, or else you can directly use it in the for loop. For word in s dot split. This will give you each and every word, allows you to extract each and every word Once you have that word, we'll be finding length of that word using len function. Now word every time gives me each and every word, right? So I'll be calculating the length of that word. Once calculation of that length of each word is done, what I'll be doing, as this is an integer, len is an integer data type, int form. We need, in order to form concatenation, I'll typecast it to string. Once string concatenation is done, I have to concatenate each and every word's length, right? So first I'll be getting 4, then I need to add it with the second length, which is 2. So concatenation of strings, this will result in 4 to not 6. Okay, it's not integer, it's a string. So concatenation of this will result in 42. So on, if you add anything, it goes on concatenation. So this is what we'll be doing. What we need to do after converting into string, you need to add it with an empty string followed by, let's say I take a variable r in which I'll be storing empty string. So your variable, new variable r is empty, which will be adding and concatenating all these. So finally, if you print r, that's enough. This will give you your final output, how empty string concatenated with 4 first, then the second length 4 plus 2, as it is a string, concatenation of this will result in 42. What do we have next? Generic, which is of 7 letters. So 42 plus again followed by 7. This will result in 4 to 7. So it goes on. So this is how this particular line works, tracing initially empty string followed by concatenation of the words. So let's begin with the code. What did we do? First, we need to take the string input from the user. Do not mention anything like enter sentence, something like that. Mention that we need to take standard input output and no arbitrary strings. So that is why we are not taking any strings in it. So once you have collected string from the user, what was our next task? We used for each loop for word. You can use any other word for convenience. I'll be using word variable for word and s dot split. This will give me each and every word. Or else if you do not want to write in this format, you can just simply make it to convert this step in before. Few might be confused. So alternate ways, s equals to s dot split, apply split function separately, and then use the for each loop. Either ways it works the same. So extraction is done. So each and every word I'll be adding, right? What did I take? I took a temporary variable, let's say it will be result, which is of empty string. If you observe clearly, there is no space. It's just empty string without any spaces. Next, what did I do? I've concatenated result. First, what did we do? Finding the length of each word. So once you found out the length, what did we do? As it is an integer data type, we are typecasting it to string in order to form the concatenation. So once each and every word, length of the word is been concatenated, your result holds all the lengths. So finally, we'll be printing your result. Let's say I'll pass that same input here. So if you observe clearly, this is 4 words, is 2, next generic 7, programming 11 words, base 5, version A for 3, and all 3. The also contains 3 letters and followed by students 8 letters. So this is how you will be printing. This is the final output required. So let's cross check. It's the same. So this is how you will be solving this question. So moving further, if you have any doubts, you can drop comments. We'll answer those questions as well. Meanwhile, let's move to the next question. I hope this question is clear for you. What is our second question? Given an array of n positive integers. Note, it is saying positive integers, which means greater than 0, and write a program to print is giving us two tasks. What is the first task? Count. You need to print the count as well as sum. Now, what is this count asking? What is the sum? Let's find it out. First, count C, which is the number of elements of array that can be expressed as power of 2, such as 2 power 0. Double asterisk means power. So I'll give you the visual representation if you have any confusion. It means if you see something like this, 2 power 0, this is nothing but 2 power 0. Same visual representation. Power symbol, we'll be using it like this. So this is how it works. Double asterisk for power representation. Then what do we have? So in the given list of array elements, imagine you have 5 to 6 elements, out of which 3 to 4 might be the numbers which are actually power of 2, which can be represented as power of 2. What are they? 2 power 0 is 1, and we have 2 power 1 is 2, 2 square, 2 cube, so on. So all these numbers which can be represented in the form of 2 power values, we need to count them first. What are they? Imagine if I have my array elements contains 1, 3, 4, 8 and 16. What I have to do? 2 power 0 is 1. So what are all the values which you can represent in power of 2? 1, 1 followed by 4. You cannot represent 3 in the power of 2. And next followed by 8. This is 2 square. This is 2 power 0. This is 2 cube followed by 2 power. So, except 3, all values can be represented in the form of 2 power. So, what is the count? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, first case you need to print output count 4 for the given example. So, what is this? I hope you understood what we need to do in the first case. We've talked first statement, you need to be clear regarding the problem statement. So first point is clear. So let's move to the next. So what is he asking? Sum S, which is the sum of all elements of array that can be expressed as power of 2. So this is the second condition which he is asking for, and finally we have the general instructions. Let me explain you the second task. What is he doing? So in the above given example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 values which can be represented as power of 2. So your second task is to add these values, which is 1 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16, 5, 5 plus 8, 13, 29. So you should be printing this. Finally, in first case, you should print the count, which is equals to 4, and next followed by sum of those numbers which can be represented as power of 2. For the given example, we've got 29. Let's cross check 5. That's it. So this way, if he's asking side by side, in that case you need to print, which is 420. So let us look at the input and output formats, in which way he is asking. I hope the problem statement is clear till now. So general instructions, standard input and output, no arbitrary strings while reading input. Okay, so what is the constraint? You will be having only positive numbers and which is less than 2 power 30. So when you observe the input format, the first line of input contains n, the size of the array, which means how many elements your array accumulates is the first input which you need to collect from the user. Once that is done, your second line of input contains n elements of array separated by a single white space. which means he's asking you to enter all the elements or all the numbers of the list in a single line. So we need to take multiple inputs in a single line using space separated values. So this is the input format, and let's observe the output. First line of the output contains count and the second line of the output contains sum. So if you observe this, he has entered 5, which means your array will be containing 5 elements, then followed by his given 5 inputs in a single line, out of which, if you observe, 3 is the first count, which means in the given array, we have 3 numbers which are actually represented in the power of 2, which is 1, and then we have 2, then we have 4. 3 and 5 cannot be represented as 2 power values, so count followed by 3. And if you sum up these, 1 plus 2 is 3, followed by 4 is 7. So I hope you understood. Next, we have another examples as well. So let's begin with the coding part. So first, what we need to do, collect the input from the user. Your first task is to n, which is the size of the array, which is an integer format, no arbitrary strings. Next, what do we do? I have to take an array list. How can we take multiple inputs in a single line? We have map function, which will convert into list, taking multiple inputs and converting list of map function. All the numbers are integer in format. Input dot split to divide each number. So given input, once it is taken, everything will be treated as a single string. Using split function, will be divide each and every number and typecast to int, map will assign, and finally we'll be converting into list. So first two lines of input is done. So we are remaining with the logic part. Excuse me. So let me tell you a few of the examples for better clarity. So as usual, before we begin, concept of loops, need to have knowledge, list, and bitwise operators. Bitwise, and if you can say more precisely, these are the basics which you need to understand in order to get this. So let's say a given n equals to 4, and my array contains, let's take that example itself. It will be easy for us to cross check as well. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, out of which 1, 2, and 4 can be represented as 2 power values. Let's represent these numbers in the binary format. Why? I'll let you know. 1 in binary number, it is 1 itself. Then next representation of 2, 1, 0. Next we have 4, which is this format. How are we doing it? These are in the form of 2 power 0, then followed by 2 power 1, followed by 2 power 2. And this is 2 0, 2 power 1, which is 2 power 0, anyhow it is 1. So I hope you've, if by any chance, if someone is forgot it or it's been too long binary conversion, just recall that flexibility thing. So now conversion of given number into binary format is done. So for a given number, if n number can be represented or can be 2 power value power of 2, then if you perform bitwise and operation, bitwise AND operation with num minus 1. Which means if let's take an example 4. If I perform bitwise AND operation, which is num minus 1 means 4 minus 1, which will result in 3. So if this is resulting in 0, then in that case we call that number to be power of 2, or can be represented as the power of 2. Let's check with few examples. Let us take 4 and let us also take 2. 4 can be represented in this way. And next, I've told you num minus 1, right? So what we'll be doing? Next 3, num minus 1 means. So 3 in the binary format will be 0, 1, 1. And if you perform bitwise AND operation, what is the logic for the bitwise AND operator? If both the inputs are true or 1, 1 or true, then your output will be true or else it will be false. So 0, 1, it is 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0 again followed by 0. So your final output is 0. Now let's take it for 2 as well. 1, 0. So num minus 1 will be 1 followed by 0, 1. And if you perform bitwise AND operation, 0 and 1 will result in 0, 1 and 0, it will result in 0. So let us check with other numbers in order to get the clarity. If I take 3, which is not a 2 power value, which is not a 2 power value, if you cross check with this one, what is it? This is 3, right? So next, what is the num minus 1? It will be 2. So 1, 0. If you perform bitwise AND operation, 0, 1 and 1, which means true. 1 and 1 will result in 0. Final, what did we get? It's not 0, not equals to 0, right? So this gives you a clarity that any number apart from 2 power values, if you perform num minus 1 bitwise AND operation, it will result other than 0. So on confirming these values, we'll begin with next one. I hope you understood how do we confirm if a given number is 2 power value or not. So what do? I'll use for each loop in order to get the each and every number. Once I receive each and every number, I'll be performing or I'll check if it is 2 power value or not. If it is 2 power value or not. If it is 2 power value, he asked me count at the first place. So I'll be taking a variable count in order to check how many values are there. So I'll be taking a count every time. If a given number is 2 power value, then I'll increment the count. Initially, I'll take the count variable to 0 and I'll increment 1 by 1. And simultaneously, I'll also take another variable, let's say result. Result, initially it is 0. Result is nothing but sum of numbers that can be represented, that can be 2 power values in list or in array. List or array. So once this is done, what is the second variable? I'll be adding a result each and every, let's say if I take num. So in the first case, I'll be receiving in count, I'll be storing the count, which has total number of numbers in the list, which can be 2 power values. And the next one will give me the sum of those values. So I hope you understood the pseudocode and this is what we'll be implementing next. So for few who can, if there are any confusions regarding this, let me trace few examples at the first place so that you get better clarity. Once I'll write the code and also show you the output tracing, which will give you better clarity. So what did I do? I've taken two variables, count as 0 and result is equals to 0 initially. Then next, I've used for each loop for num n ar. What is my next thing to do? I have to check if num bitwise AND operation num minus 1